Hello, my name is Ash, a counselor in training. This is my Relatable study podcast for individuals who need help studying for their NCE, CPCE, and other related counseling exams. I'm going to go through many questions from multiple resources and make the answers relatable to both you and me. So get your listening ears on and let's get studying. What is the validity of field research? Basically, when the researcher travels to the field of study and demonstrates the low interval validity because of the lack of control over external variables, and field research has high external validity because it can be generalized to all sorts of situations and studies and settings, such as a researcher going to observe birds in their natural habitat, or a researcher going to a hospital cafeteria and observing patients, doctors, nurses in a natural setting. For example, if I wanted to study giraffes, I can go to the zoo, or I could go to Africa to study the behaviors of giraffes in their natural setting, depending on if I want to research giraffes in zoos or their natural habitat. That is an example of validity of field research. In adolescence, A, females commit suicide more often than males. B, suicide is a concern that's statistically very rare. C, the teens who talk about suicide are not serious. D, males commit more suicide more often than females, but females attempt suicide more often. The answer is D. In adolescence, males commit suicide more often than females, but females attempt suicide more often. This means males complete the act of suicide more often than females, but females attempt suicide at a higher rate than males, which means they do not often complete it. I know in a research study, they studied this topic well, and answer D is what they came up with as the results of this study. Your client has been browsing social media at night when he cannot sleep. Seeing people's happy achievements makes him feel low. How would Adlerian therapy help him avoid using social media? A, emphasize social interest and goal-directed lifestyle. B, using the ABC method. C, providing psychoeducation on sleep hygiene. D, by changing his failure identity. The answer is A. By emphasizing social interest and goal-directed lifestyles, this client will be able to identify what he is interested in when it comes to hobbies, social interests, and any other ideas they may have. And a goal-directed lifestyle, they can brainstorm ideas about how they want to direct their life. Depending on which lifestyle they would like to achieve, they can create goals and take baby steps to achieve that lifestyle they want. For example, if I were the client, my social interests, it would be the arts, it would be gaming, and it would be horseback riding. Those are 3 social interests that I can apply directly into what I can do socially. And as a goal-directed lifestyle, I would want a quiet life in the suburbs with 3 to 4 friends. So my goal would be moving to the suburbs and getting in contact with people via the arts, horseback riding, and gaming to make those 3 to 4 friends. That would be an example of emphasizing social interests and goal-directed lifestyle according to the Adlerian therapy. In the general population, A, the suicide rate is 2 to every 100,000 people. B, suicide occurs at the beginning of a depressive episode, but rarely after the depression lifts. C, suicide rates tend to increase with age. D, B, and C. The answer is C. In the general population, suicide rates tend to increase with age. In a research study between 2019 and 2023, the highest rates of suicide were consistent for adults 85 years and older, with the lowest rates among adults ages 15 to 24. And then the lowest rates were adults ages 65 to 74. Over time and life experience, suicide increases as you age. A research team has conducted a study on effectiveness of a new group therapy technique for adolescents with social anxiety. The study was conducted in a controlled environment with a specific group of adolescents in one city. When reviewing the study, a counselor questions its external validity. What aspects of the study is the counselor most likely to question? A, the accuracy of statistical methods used in the study. B, the ability to generalize the findings to adolescents with social anxiety in general. C, the reliability of measures used to assess social anxiety. D, the ethical considerations involved in conducting the study. The answer is B, the ability to generalize the findings to adolescents with social anxiety in general. Stepping into this counselor's shoes, we are looking for the general findings of any topic to help in the research and to make sure that we are questioning how this research is effective towards the research, such as social anxiety. For example, if we want to look at the research regarding the quality of M&Ms and how good they taste, we would narrow down our search to one area about how they taste in a group, and we will be able to generalize the findings with the quality of taste within that specific group. And we could take that generalization of how good the M&Ms taste or how bad the M&Ms taste within that group. And that is all 5 questions. Thank you for listening. Keep calm and study on.